and welcome to Art Mood. I'm your host, Mr. Sad, and it's good to see you again. I hope you are all doing really well. Today we're going to do a lesson on scratch art. So we'll talk about it, and then we will actually make our own scratch art examples. So for some of you, you might already know what scratch art is, but we're going to take a look at an example real quick to see what scratch art is. Scratch art in general is art that is made by scratching out to create value. So I want you to look at this picture of a pear. You can see, what do you notice about this picture first? What are some things that stand out to you? Now, I know that when I'm looking at this, I notice that there's a lot of dark black color all over. There's a black background, which is weird because normally I see like a white background on drawings, right? And there seems to be not a lot of white on the page, right? Well, that's because this is how scratch art is made. It starts usually with a darker background, and the artist uses something called a stylist. Can you say stylist? Stylist. Well, which is like a tool that scratches away some of the black to create more light. This creates value in an artwork, which is just the illusion of light. So again, if you look back at this picture, you can tell where the light is coming from in the picture. Is it coming from the left side? Yes. You can see on one side of the pear, it looks like light is hitting it. And on the other side of the pear, it's darker, so it looks like there's a little bit of shadow there. Now, scratch art has been used by many talented artists. There's lots of examples that I found online of where an artist just takes a stylist and just scratches out the picture that they want. So this is the pear, and I thought this one was a good one, but look how detailed artists can get whenever they're scratch art. I found this picture of a dog. Apparently it's by Melissa Helmet. But if you look real closely at it, you can see that this is actually a black background, and the artist went through here with a stylist and scratched out all those black parts. Now, something you'll also notice is that the darkest areas in the picture don't really have any scratches in them. You see, like back here, over here on the side by the ear, there's not a lot of scratches over here. But places that are brighter, like the little specks in his eye, have a lot of scratched away. So scratch art is pretty neat. It's pretty fun to do. I don't expect you guys to do like this well, but again, I want you to kind of look at some of the better examples of what scratch art is. So I think I'm going to stop that. Back here. So I wanted to show you what I have done with some scratch art. I actually made this paper myself, and I'll use it as an example of value. So as you can see, when we were talking about value, value is how light or dark an object is. So if you look at this bar right here, it's got a couple of squares on it. And I kind of messed up on this side because I didn't put enough soap in it. But you can see that as you get closer to one side, it starts to get darker. But why is that? Again, we know that if we scratch less off, the picture looks darker. And if we scratch more off, it looks brighter. Same thing with this ball over here. You can see like one side looks brighter and one side looks darker. It's just because I scratched more off, right? I also made a paper airplane and a face. So today you're gonna mess around with this. You're gonna make your own scratch art. You see this? This is the scratch art paper that you will make, and you will also be able to scratch off some images on there. I've got a toothpick, which I use as a stylist. And as you can see, it works pretty well. Just like that. Works pretty well. It's kind of hard for you to see. Maybe I should scratch a little bit more. No, I'll have to play around with it a little bit more. It's kind of hard to scratch when I don't have it on the surface. But you'll be able to make something just like this. And we'll even add color in the background so that it'll stand out even more. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to the other video real quick, and I'm going to show you how to make this paper. Just as a forewarning though, this project will probably take 2 class periods in real life. So if you're watching this online, you can sit down and do this in one sitting, but you have to paint today and then wait for it to dry overnight, okay? So I'm going to switch over to that camera now, and then I'll show you how this is all going to get started, okay? Alrighty. hopefully you're joining us now or you've been listening in. This is the next part. We're going to get our piece of paper ready. I just got me an extra scratch sheet of paper to start working with. And I got some cool crayons over here that I need. Crayons are the best thing to use on this from what I've researched, because the wax in it doesn't scratch off as easily. If you have to use colored pencils or something, I think that's fine. You do not want to use paint though. Do not use paint. Use crayons, maybe colored pencils, maybe markers. I haven't tried that. So the first thing is probably the easiest part. What you're going to do is you're going to grab your crayon and you're going to make a colorful background. You can do scratch art with just a white background, but I think it's pretty cool whenever you use colors. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to add all these colors, just like so. Just make a cool rainbow. Get it nice and colorful. We darken it a little bit. Does not matter what order you go in, as long as it is covered up. Also seen people do different designs. You can do lines that go straight up and down. You can do diagonal lines like I'm doing. You can do horizontal lines. It's however you want to do it. So it's kind of nice. I like it when it's up to me what I want to do. I didn't draw anything under this because most of it's going to be covered up anyways. She decided to scratch everything off. What's done here? Go. Let's end it off. I wanted to do, what color can I use? Use you. I guess I am done. I'll grab one. What color will it be? I'll just do blue. I might use blue. I like to leave a little white in the corner just for fun, all right? Now, the next part of this project is, after you are done coloring your background, we're gonna have to cover this with black tempura paint. Now, your black tempura paint needs to be mixed with dish soap. Any dish soap will work. So here's the black paint that I have. Hopefully you can see that on the screen. You do not need this much. This is a nice little dollop right here. It is not a lot. And I also have a sponge brush, which I think is really nice and easy to paint with. You could use less paint if you want, but this much paint right here, which is, it's barely the size of my hand, how much paint I have right here, is probably about a cup of black tempura paint, and you only need 3 or 4 drops of dish soap. So once you get that soap, you're gonna mix it together. You're gonna get some of that black paint on there. You're going to very lightly cover this with black paint. You're like, oh, I worked so hard on this. It is okay. You'll be able to scratch it. Now, if you look closely, you can see some little streaks that I'm making. You don't want to see those streaks. What you want to do is, again, just go over it lightly with some black paint, and then you might have to go over it a couple of times. And that is okay. I'm just going to cover this thing up with some black paint. If you need help, ask mom or pop, help you out. Should not take very long at all. Just like this. Go over it with another second coat to make sure that I cover all of the scratch marks. You'll see a couple of colorful marks still from when the paintbrush is pulling off the paint. Okay, try to get it off your fingers. There There we go. All right, that's all it is to it. I've covered all the sides. It is all dark. Got it as smooth as I could get it. I no longer need my paintbrush or my paint, so I'm going to put those to the side. And this is the part of the lesson where you will have to wait. You don't have to wait 24 hours, but just to be safe, I would wait 24 hours. If you have a place that you can put it while it rests and dries, then I would do that. But I'm going to move this to a place where it'll stay dry. And then I'll come back in just a second. And I will pull out the one that I worked on before. So as you guys can see, this is the scratch art I worked on before. You guys saw this. And if you made it right, if you mixed a good amount or a small amount of dish soap with it, then this will come off a lot easier, okay? And sometimes it doesn't come off perfectly, but that's okay. The idea is still the same. Now, again, whenever you're making something, you can draw it like you're normally drawing a picture. Like if I wanted a heart, I can draw a heart using my stylus, which is just a toothpick. And draw me a little heart. See that? And if I want my heart to have some color, then I just scratch it away. Or maybe I want it to have a little bit of color, make it look kind of 3D. I can scratch it away, just like that, you see? So it's up to you how you play around with this. But I want you to have some fun with it. Try it out, and hopefully you've enjoyed like the colorful background. I think it's pretty neat whenever it has a colorful background. Here's a warning for you though. If you make a scratch like I did over here earlier, you can't erase it because you are scratching away the black. If I make a little lightning bolt right here, and I say, oh, I don't want that lightning bolt, I can't really get rid of it. So you gotta turn it into something that you like, okay? But I think this is pretty easy to make. I think it's pretty fun to make. So get you some help from your parents, make some scratch art, and practice that value. Remember, value is just going from darker to light. And for us, when we're doing it with scratch art, we're scratching away at the dark so that we can see a little bit more light, okay? So I'm gonna switch back over one more time, and then we'll wrap up today. So thanks for coming, thanks for hanging out. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you had fun with that project. Again, maybe it's day one of this and you just got done coloring and painting, or hopefully it's dry by now and maybe you've been able to go back and scratch off some stuff. So again, hopefully this was fun. Hopefully you learned something about value, because remember, value is how light or dark something is in a picture. And we showed value by scratching off some spots. So that's it for me today. Again, enjoy scratching. I hope you enjoyed playing with this. And send me your pictures, you know. Hopefully this is on Dojo, so you can send it to me, or if not, you can send it to me on your email. I'd like to see what you guys were able to scratch off, all right? But that's it for me again. Thank you for coming today. Just remember that you're always one idea away from being in an art mood. I'll catch you later. Have fun.